A very good morning to my dear students of class 7. Today we will talk about the rest portion of chapter 7. And our first point is achievements of the Vijayanagar kingdom. So let's start. At the top there was king who was the absolute ruler and his will was the law. He was treated as God's representative on earth. A council of ministers chosen by him assisted him in administration. The kingdom was divided into 6 provinces which were under the charge of governors. The provinces were also divided into districts, and each district consisted of a number of villages. Now these villages were at the bottom of the administrative structure of the Vijayanagar kingdom, and these villages were governed by the officers. The post of these officers was hereditary. Now my students, let's talk about the economic condition of the Vijayanagar kingdom. Vijayanagar was one of the wealthiest kingdoms in the 15th and 16th centuries CE. Agriculture, trade and commerce flourished during this time. Taxes on land and trade were the two main sources of revenue. Now, let's come to society. Ancient Vedic customs were revived by the Vijayanagar rulers. The society was conservative and caste system became rigid. The position of the Brahmanas was very powerful. Women were respected, but they did not have much freedom in the society. Child marriage and sati system were prevailing in the society. Our next point is religious tolerance. In spite of being staunch Hindus, the Vijayanagar kings were tolerant and liberal in their outlook. Okay, staunch means very loyal or faithful, whatever you say. So there was no discrimination, no racial discrimination in the kingdom, in the Vijayanagar kingdom. The Vijayanagar rulers employed Muslims in the army and administration. Now, a village named Hampi was the capital city of Vijayanagar kingdom. It was considered a holy place. The ruins of Vijayanagar at Hampi reflect the glory and grandeur of the city. The Vithalaswamy temple, the Virupaksha temple and the Hajar Rama temple are considered to be the finest specimens of temple architecture of this period. Painting, sculpture, music and dance also made great progress during this time. Now my students, let's talk about the Bahmani kingdom. The Bahmani kingdom was established by Alauddin Hasan. He was an official of the Delhi Sultanate during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. The Bahmani kingdom was the most powerful kingdom of the Deccan. The Raichur Doab was a very fertile area that lay between the river Krishna, which was the southern boundary of the Bahmani kingdom, and the river Tungabhadra, which was the northern boundary of the Vijayanagar kingdom. The Raichur Doab was a rich source of revenue, and because of this only, it became a battleground for a prolonged struggle between the Vijayanagar kingdom and the Bahmani kingdom. This led to the Battle of Talikota, in which the Vijayanagar kingdom was totally defeated. The Bahmani kingdom reached the height of its power under the leadership of Mahmud Gaban. Mahmud Gaban was the Wazir or the Prime Minister of Muhammad Shah II. Mahmud Gaban was a competent and a successful general. During his time, the kingdom economically prosperous. He was a learned man and a patron of learning. There was a conflict in the Bahmani kingdom between the Deccani and the Pardesi. Deccani means the local nobles and Pardesi means foreign nobles. Muhammad Gavan was regarded as a Pardesi. The Deccani nobles conspired against Mahmud Gavan, and he was beheaded on the orders of the Sultan. The death of Gavan signaled the end of Bahmani kingdom. After the death of Mahmud Gavan, the kingdom had disintegrated into 5 independent kingdoms. Now my students, let's talk about our last point, that is the achievements of the Bahmani kingdom. The king had the absolute power obviously, but he was controlled by the ulemas and powerful nobles. The kingdom was divided into provinces, and these provinces were ruled by the governors who were very powerful. The Bahmani rulers patronized Islam. Many beautiful mosques, madrasas were built during their time. The Bahmani kings were great builders also. The Jama Masjid, the Chand Minar and the Gol Gumbaz are examples of Bahmani architecture. Now come to the conclusion of this Bahmani kingdom. The sultans of the Bahmani kingdom were constantly in warfare among themselves. Exhausted by their mutual rivalries, they became soft targets for the powerful Mughal emperors of the north. So my students, here is the end of our chapter. Go through the chapter very carefully, and in our following classes I will provide you the question answer.